Hi everyone, today is Tuesday, February the 21st, 2023, and this is a video that I'm making on the nakshatra of Shattabhisha. Has many names, Shattabhisha, Shattabhishaka, Shattataraka, many more, but I'm just going to refer to it as Shattabhisha. And this was actually a viewer request, and I'm actually working on a book, so I decided to print out the draft of what I've written up on this one, because the thing about it is you cannot talk about Anuradha and Mithras without talking about Varuna and Shattabhisha. But you also cannot talk about Shattabhisha without talking about Aryaman and Yama. And if you think, whoa, you're conflating a bunch of things, I'm actually not. And hopefully all these pages, and I hope I actually do get the time to go through it all. If I don't, I may have to record a part 2, because I'm just doing this quickly while my son plays basketball. Okay, so what I started off, I'm just going to start off by reading a bit from the book that I'm writing, and then as soon as I print it out, I wrote a bunch of notes, because the thing with me is I don't like to write in my computer. I actually write, in proper books, like in hard copy books. I don't write in the computer, and then I just typed it all up, and after I typed it up, because I don't really proof what I read, or I cannot read what I write, so I just leave it, and then when I do read what I write, I end up editing the whole thing all over again and writing all these other things that come up again in paper. But in any case, so here goes. Okay, 3 minutes in. Shattabhisha is a nakshatra that is rife with misunderstanding and mystery. If you ask me what is an elephant, and I respond by saying its nose comes from a snake and its legs come from tree trunks, knowing what you already know about elephants, you will say that I'm ignorant. So too, when people say that Shattabhisha is secretive, Shattabhisha is ruled by Rahu, Shattabhisha people are tech people, or space people, or astrologers, or it means you'll have hard to diagnose illnesses and have to go to 100 doctors, and Shattabhisha makes alcoholics, and Shattabhisha means emptiness and loneliness, and it's an empty circle. All these are inadequate representations of the nakshatra of Shattabhisha and the deity Varuna, whose abode is that zone of deep space. Okay, so what's a nakshatra, right? Let's go back to that. Naksha, tra just means technology, tool. That's what it means. So a naksha is a map. So it's basically a map technology, a navigation system. And it's a navigation for what? For the deities, for the gods to find their way home. Or not find their way, but it's the navigational system for us, perhaps, to find our way to those deities and where they reside. And now, where is Shattabhisha? Now, I can tell you it's like how many degrees western, how many degrees sidereal, and all of that BS. But I would rather skip that, because it doesn't matter that it is, somewhere in sidereal Aquarius and around 20 to about 6 or 10 or something degrees, or 20 Aquarius to about 6 degrees, or something like that in Western Pisces. That bit is irrelevant. I'll tell you how to find it in the sky. Okay? So, Shattabhisha is near Lyra. So if you look up in the sky and you see the bright star, it's called Vega, and Vega is like the main star of Lyra. So it's near Lyra, above, and it's if you think of like the water bearer constellation, it's the shoulder of the water bearer. But the foot or the knee or whatever, that's Fomalhaut, which is one of the Arabic four royal stars. And Fomalhaut is like the teacher, but it's more than just the teacher. It's more like if you mess up with that one, or if what your patri, if your kundli, if your birth chart shows that you have you have to read it in its entirety, so I won't just say, oh, if you have this and that. But if you have a problem with Fomalhaut, right, then you really have to watch out for what you're standing for and what you're teaching, and on the flip side, like even if you are very let's say ordained and very good, or not good, but good is such a black and white word, which is interesting because the colors actually of Shattabhisha are black and white, and today it's like a few days after Mahashivratri. And by the way, Mahashivratri happens when the sun and moon are both in Shattabhisha, and Ash Wednesday happens on the Wednesday around whenever Mahashivratri happens. And Ash Wednesday is the beginning of the Lenten season. And tomorrow is Ash Wednesday, and Saturday was Mahashivratri. But actually, Shattabhisha was, the moon was in Shattabhisha yesterday. So Sunday night to Monday. So time has changed a little bit, because typically that sun and moon conjunction, the new moon, no moon night, has to occur when the moon is in Shattabhisha for it to be Mahashivratri. But so it's a bit off this year, and it's actually a lot of things are off this year because just think about it. If you know if you read what is that thing called, Kalanirnay, the Indian calendar, the almanac. If you read Kalanirnay and you understand how the months are named, so like the month of Magha is when I think the full moon is in Magha Nakshatra, but the month of Magha, which was like last month or 2 months back or whatever it was, the full moon actually happened in Pushya, not Magha. So time has changed. We're a little bit off on things, and and we're not keeping track really, or people have not been keeping track properly, and they really should, because it matters. This stuff matters. Okay. Oh, and speaking of time, I have a movie recommendation. This completely tangential, I know. But what was it called? Not Infinity Wars. The most recent one, Quantum Mania. The guy who's trapped in the quantum realm. He is. I swear, he is the Shani archetype, and you must watch it. It's a brilliant movie. It's all about time and all the things that he says. Like, I swear, they might have either had astrologers consulting on that movie, or they know their archetypes really, really well. Okay, so anyway, so back to this. So okay, so so specifically in the shoulder of the water bearer, in today's era, the nakshatra is approximately from, approximately from 0 to 13 or 14 degrees of tropical Pisces, and 6 or 7 degrees to 20 degrees of sidereal Aquarius. Okay, so that's it. So 0 to 13, 14 Pisces, and 6 or 7 to 20-ish of sidereal Aquarius. I use approximations because the way I cast chart is to plot the actual sky in stellarium. Oh, and that's the thing I want to tell you guys about stellarium. It's this it's brilliant. It's this app. So this is what the app looks like. You see that there? Okay, so that's the app, and It's great. It's free, and it updates in, you know, live in real time. Like, look at that right now. It's telling you. I don't know if you can even see it properly, but it gives a whole read on the what's up above you and all that. See, like the sun. Where's the sun? Sun is somewhere there. So since my phone is pointing that way, it's showing that it's there. And of course, right now I cannot see the planet, see the other planets, but it's telling me. And now if I zoom in, it'll tell me, you know, like which star it's in also. So I really love this app. But anyways, this is how I cast charts, because you can go backwards and forwards in time, and you can actually see where things are when you plot somebody's chart, and it's a whole different dimension rather than attempting to use, you know, whole house system or Koch system or Porphyry or Placidus or whatever house system you want to use. It's it all pales compared to when you enter a date in this app, and you actually can see the sky. You can see any random comets that were flying by, because I like to kind of go hour by hour about, you know, like before the person was born up to, like, say the next day, to just see sort of what was going on in the sky that day. And it's really, I personally like it much more than any other sort of quote unquote astrological software. I like this one a lot more. Anyway, so, and whose abode is Shattabhisha? That would be Varuna. And who is Varuna? Okay, now here's where this gets very fun and interesting. So Varuna is the son of Mother Goddess Aditi, you know, the one of Punarvasu, right? And then, I've written here, you may recall from that chapter that Aditi has 8 children, and in subsequent editions, this was updated to 12 solar Adityas. Now, of course, because I'm writing it as a book, and you've not read that chapter, so so actually Varuna, it's actually Mitra Varuna. That's why I printed so many of these out. So Mitra, Varuna, and another one, Yama. Also, because Yama is complicated. Yeah, it's kind of complicated, because Yama, I know it's the Bharani, deity and all that, but Yama was also the first Pitri, right? He's the first like mortal ancestor, and so in the sense, like, if I say, gee, Yama and Varuna and Mitra, it's like, whoa, wait, what? But no, they are all related. They are all so related. Like, I don't even, like, it's hard to even understand where to begin. So here is a diagram. I do not possess a printer, a color printer, so I printed this out in black and white. But in color, the way it is so I have this side, you know, that's a sunset, so to speak. That's more Tanda and Aditi. This side is the sunrise. So what is it, Pratyusha, or like the sunrise, basically. Then this one is, I believe, Twastar. This one is like Agni, also Jeshta. They're not Indragni, okay? It's not Vishaka. Like, don't confuse the nakshatras now with these deities, because these are just like the initial 8, right? The club of 8. And then inside there, I put in the moon phases, and then I did a different diagram and whatnot. And then these two, you see, they are flipped in, so one is green and pink, and the other one is pink and green, these two. So in some texts, Bhaga is the one for Uttar Falguni, and Aryaman is the one for Purva Falguni, the one who writes the contract, Aryaman, the one who gets the benefits of said contract, Bhaga. So, but then in some other texts, it's flipped around to where it's like Bhaga comes first, then Aryaman. But and there are you have to use. They're both correct, and you have to use them both, depending on whether you're doing personality astrology or timing astrology. Okay, because in personality astrology, it's different, versus if you're trying to time something. If you're trying to time something, Aryaman is the one who makes the promise. So if you were trying to write a contract or whatever, do it in the Aryaman time. So do it in the Purva Falguni time, and do the rejoicing, enjoying, all of that in the Bhaga time, in the Uttar Falguni time. Even though you may have learned that Purva is Bhaga and the other way. So that's just for timing. Anyways, now here you go. These two. We're looking at these two, okay? So this one is the Bhaga one, where the cows are coming home and everybody's enjoying themselves and chilling out and all that. This is sunset, where the sun dies. And then you have Asura, because there's Surya, right? Shura. And then there's the Asura, without the sun, okay? And now this realm right here, this is Aryaman, who makes the promise to Martanda and Mother Aditi. He makes the promise that the sun will come back. Then this is Varuna, the midnight sun, the holder of cosmic order and cosmic law, the one who holds all of this in his beingness, because he is space itself. And that is what is meant by Varuna, is space. It doesn't mean you're going to go into outer space. You might, okay, but don't conflate the two. Don't think that just because you're influenced by this nakshatra, you're a rocket scientist. You might be, but then again, you might not be. That's where it comes from, because it's space, and space is inside everything, and everything is in space, right? My car here is sitting in space, in a time and space. I exist here in space, and yet right here, this is all space, right? In fact, isn't there some, like in the quantum theory, there's something about like almost everything is like 99.9999 whatever percent nothingness, and it's just the atoms, the atmas between each other, hanging out with each other. That's like barely a fraction of anything, and almost everything is nothingness. And that is something I must thank this monk for. I highly recommend his channel. He has a channel. I mean, I'm sure he's not watched his channel himself, but his name is Ajahn Brahm, and his channel is BSWA, Buddhist Society of Western Australia. I had the good fortune, privilege, and good karma, you could say, of going to his monastery 3 times for for 3 silent meditation retreats, which were just amazing in 2018, 2019. Absolutely amazing. And he said this thing that it describes Shattabhisha perfectly, I would say. He tells the story of so when you're on the retreat, you don't speak, but he gives lectures every now and then, once a day actually. Oh no, twice a day, morning and evening. He gives a talk, and he said this child. He tells a story about this child who was asking, who was asked, what is the biggest thing? Oh, is this elephant bigger, or is this bigger? Is that bigger? And she said, no, my eye is bigger than everything. The eye is bigger than everything, because the eye can see the elephant, and if the eyes can see the elephant, and the elephant is so big, then my eye must be bigger than all of it. And so Varuna, Shattabhisha, is also associated with the all-seeing eye, okay? And all-seeing eye, sense perception. Did my thing die? I think it did. Okay, let's see.